Well, there's Jeff
Hey, Joe.
and Tony.
Good evening.
Guys,
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, thank you.
He's with the architecture for item 12, 13.
Okay. I think we're all here, which means that I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, January 6, 2021. I officially call to order this meeting of the Truckee Donner Public Utility District. Oh, well, that's my gavel. Shauna, could we get a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Director Bender,
Here.
Director Aguirre,
here.
Director Harris,
Here.
Vice President Laliotis,
Here.
President Finn.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are going to defer the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Do we have any changes to the agenda, General Manager Wright?
President Finn, there are no changes this evening.
Okay, thank you. Move on to public comment. This is the moment set aside for the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda. Testimony related to any agendized item will be addressed at the time that that item is considered. Shauna, do we have any public comment?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. Which brings us to the consent calendar. Do we have any? Oops, no, I'm sorry. I skipped the general manager update. A little bit. General Manager Wright, do we have an update this evening from you? You're muted.
I'm unmuted. We do have some updates. Thank you for the opportunity. Obviously, with the new year, Happy New Year to everyone. We start off with, at the beginning of the year, with our fiscal year budget. We will see in the coming weeks, Mike Salmon, our CFO, and his finance team will have some year-end presentations from 2020. We also have quite a few studies and reports that we're either finalizing or initiating here in the coming months that we will be presenting to the board, including our urban water management plan, our the Martis Valley Groundwater Basin Management Plan that Mr. Ponsley is working on with our sister agencies out there. And then most excitingly here for recent is our strategic plan, the district strategic plan. And I really wanted to touch on that real quick. We have some really great numbers to report. We're, as you all know, in the midst of our community outreach portion of this strategic planning process. And we're initiating tomorrow evening the community focus group portion of that. And so tomorrow evening is the Tahoe Donner and Donner Lake focus group. Tomorrow evening at 5. The registration has closed for that particular focus group, but we do have 214 participants registered for that specific group. So those are amazing numbers. Overall, we have 424 community members registered for the entire program. Our goal was 300, so we've definitely exceeded that with still 5 or 6 days left in some of the subsequent groups. Just a reminder, next week we do have a Spanish-speaking focus group for the Spanish-speaking community. We have the Prosser Grays Crossing in downtown neighborhood. And then on January 13th, Sierra Meadows, Gateway, and West River Street neighborhood group. The 14th is a makeup session for those who weren't able to register for their neighborhood or didn't find a neighborhood group that really fit them. Or we have on January 14th, the Glenshire, Old Greenwood, and Olympic Heights. So there's still time to register for all those. We're really excited about the turnout, and we're looking forward to that engagement with the community. I think that's all. Oh, I also wanted to mention to the board, in one of the previous board meetings, there was an approval for a fuel station, basically a joint agency fuel station here in the community. Proud to kind of report that we are initiating the pilot phase of that. So the pilot program will start over the next couple of months. This includes the town, the Truckee Donner PUD and the fire district, utilizing a shared fueling station here in the community. Really great for, kind of that large capacity storage for all the local agencies to pull from. So a great community multi-agency project. We're looking forward to evaluating that in the next coming months. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Excellent news. Thank you, General Manager Wright. And, I apologize, everybody. It's been an odd day. I'm going to back up now for the director's updates. I apologize. Directors, let's see. I'll start with Director Bender. Do you have an update for us?
Just Happy New Year, everyone. Good to see everyone in 2021. 2020 is over. So looking forward to a new productive year. And yeah, thank you. Have a good one. See ya.
Thank you. Director Aguera, do you have a comment?
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody also. And we got through this last weekend okay. It was nice and quiet. In fact, at at midnight on Friday night, I went out to the front door, didn't hear a sound. All the noise was at 9 o'clock from North Star, and that was it. In fact, I don't know how I did it, but I missed the ball drop too. But that was it. That was my little New Year right here. Real nice. It was nice and quiet, and stayed out of trouble.
Glad to hear it, Director Aguera. Director Harris, do you have an update for us tonight?
I do. So this week I participated, Brian mentioned it, with the other board members on a facilitator training for the upcoming focus groups for the next step in the strategic plan. I am really looking forward to these groups and assisting staff to receive information from the community during this process. I also wanted to say that I was overwhelmingly elected by the community to do a job, and that is who I report to, the community and the public. I ran on the platform of transparency, fiscal responsibility, and safety of the community and employees of the district. I have asked thoughtful, relevant questions to the agenda items presented to me. I am the new person on the board, and my questions in open session are there to seek information to ensure that the decisions I make are well thought out and have the support of the best management practices. I will continue to serve this community by asking questions that are relative to the agenda items in doing business with the district. I thank the many people who reached out to me following my first 2 board meetings. Your supportive comments and observations of the situation are my strength to keep the momentum going, to ensure our business practices are of providing reliable water, electric, and administrative services is in the best interest of the district's employees and ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Harris. Director Laliotis.
All right, thank you. No, just Happy New Year to everyone. Today was a very challenging day for a lot of us, but I want to acknowledge all the good work from all of the employees of the district, the board, and that we too will carry on and do our work and move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Laliotis. And I actually don't have very much to say tonight. I echo Director Laliotis. It's been a strange day. What's going on in our country right now in Washington is not something I ever imagined that I would see in my lifetime. And really the only thing that we can do is to rededicate ourselves to the truth, to our communities, to civility, to the rule of law, and to peaceful solutions to the problems that undoubtedly exist. And with that in mind, I'm going to, once again, it's a new year, welcome to it, and reiterate that we are going to continue to embody the tenets of speak your piece. And I'm going to review this again. Paying attention, actively listen, be inclusive, don't gossip, show respect, be agreeable, apologize, give constructive criticism, and take responsibility. So I think with these tenets in mind, we will have a better 2021. So thank you all. And that brings us now to the consent calendar. Is there any public comment on the consent calendar?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. Do any board members want to pull anything or have anything to say about the consent calendar?
I have a couple of items that I wanted to note. In the agenda package, I know it references a resolution 2021-01, tank site piping modifications for 2020, and that was just missing out of the packet. So I don't know how we would go forward with this item, with that item missing. So, and then the other comment I had is that I'm really excited about item number 10, Laserfish. I think that's going to be a fantastic program for the district to implement. We use it at the town, and I think it's an awesome program.
Thank you. Number 9, sorry, I'm looking at the, okay, the tank site modifications.
I don't know if something like this has happened in the past. If it's probably
Well,
I don't think that there's any significant anything in it, but just wondering if they could read it out loud before we approve it.
Closing it out. We've already approved it. The money has been spent. The project is complete. So that's all we're saying, I believe, is that it is done. And so this was a contract that was bid and approved in the past. It was awarded in May 2020. And now all we are doing is they're telling us that it is complete, and we are saying, okay, it's complete. Is that?
So, well, I think the issue is that we're approving a resolution that's not included in our board packet. So procedurally, Council Gross, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, so I'd recommend we pull item number 9 from the consent. The board consider the remaining items on the consent calendar. Then we take up item 9, and perhaps if staff has a copy of that resolution handy, that it could be read into the record as Director Harris suggested. I think that's a fine suggestion, and then you can hear it, ask questions about it, and decide whether to vote on it.
Yes, staff does have a copy available that we can read. And if it pleases the board, we also have a really brief presentation if you'd like to go over that as well.
I think we might as well. That's where we're at, agenda item number 9.
Do you want to pull 9 from consent and go ahead and call for a motion on the remaining consent calendar?
Let's do that. So we shall pull item number 9. And do we have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Anna, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, thank you. Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Aguirre,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Vice President Laliotis,
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we going to move item number 9? Are we going to consider that this evening now? And so that's going to be our first action item.
Yeah, Water Systems Engineer Neil Kaufman will have a presentation for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes, I can.
So good evening, directors and President Finn. This is item number 9, which is closeout of the tank site piping modifications 2020 project. The project was awarded to Longo Incorporated back in May of this year. The bid price on the project was $292,290. The board established a 10% change order allowance for the project, and so the total authorization was not to exceed $321,500. The project had two main objectives. The first objective was to install valves and bypass piping to allow for future maintenance activities such as storage tank cleaning, repairs, and recoating, as well as pump station valve and pump replacement, and to enable us to perform this work without creating a significant impact on service to water system customers. The second main objective was to install meters at selected pump stations to enhance the ability to monitor water system flows and more accurately identify water loss within specific pressure zones. And this information will be needed to comply with forthcoming unfunded mandates from the state regarding annual water loss audits and data validity. So Longo Incorporated began the work in June of this year. They completed the work in December. There were 4 change order requests that were approved by district staff, and these totaled a little over $5,200. And when we performed our standard reconciliation of bid quantities versus actual quantities, this resulted in an $849 credit to the district. So a review of the financials on the project. Again, the original bid price was $292,290. The final contract price was $296,692.47, and this was less than the original board authorization. So the recommendation before you is to adopt Resolution 2021-01, accepting the project as complete and authorizing the filing of the notice of completion. So at this point, I guess the recommendation is that someone would read the text of the resolution.
Yes.
Neil, any chance you have that just on your slideshow or no?
I do not have it on my slideshow, no, unfortunately.
Neil, do you have it available to read?
I do have it available to read, yes.
You could go ahead and read it for the board and the public.
Okay. So this is resolution number 2021-1, the title of which is authorizing the acceptance of the tank site piping modifications 2020 project and directing filing of the notice of completion. Whereas the Board of Directors of the Truckee-Donner Public Utility District made the determination to undertake the tank site piping modifications 2020 project, and whereas Longo Incorporated was selected by the district to perform the work, and whereas Longo Incorporated has completed all of the work included in the project, and now therefore it be resolved by the Board of Directors of the district as follows. 1, that the district hereby accepts the tank site piping modifications 2020 project as complete. 2, that the clerk of the district be directed to file with the County of Nevada the notice of completion, a copy of which is attached hereto. 3, that 35 days following the filing of the notice of completion, the monies retained from the contractor payments to be released to the contractor if no claims have been made to the district by material suppliers or laborers. And then we have passed and adopted by the Board of Directors at a meeting duly called and held within the district on the 6th day of January 2021 by the following roll call vote.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Thank you. Do we have any public comment on this item?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have any directors' questions or comments on this item?
Yeah, just, you know, while it doesn't seem like this was a big project, I know that the project, the things that the project completed were pesky problems that are making staff's lives going to be easier in the future. I want to thank Neil and his staff for getting this project done. And, you know, this is a great, I don't talk about this a lot, but this is a great story. Obviously, minimal change orders, local contractor. You know, this project went really well and solved several problems for staff in the future. So success all the way around.
Thank you, Director Laliotis. Do we have any other director comments?
Oh, ditto. Like, I'm not as wordy as Tony was, but I believe everything he said was right on the spot. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Director Aguirre. Do we have any other director comments? Okay.
Thank you for reading that out loud. I think that's kind of the last piece that you'll need to file. So I'm glad we got that done.
Thank you.
I'll move we adopt resolution 2021-01, accepting the tank site piping modifications -2020 project as complete, and authorize the filing of the notice of completion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you. Shauna, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, thank you. Director Bender?
Yes.
Director Aguirre?
Yes.
Director Harris?
Yes.
Vice President Laliotis?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Moving on to our action items. We have number 11, consideration to adopt resolution 2021-02, commending Trisha Ruby for her many years of service. And I believe we have a presentation on this.
Yes. Hello, President Finn and members of the board and members of staff, members of the public. I'm Sana Schlosser, the electric engineering manager, and I'll be giving this presentation tonight. And pardon me, I've been having some technical difficulties, so I do apologize. Give me a moment while I share my screen. Okay, so this item, whoops, sorry. Like I said, I had some technical difficulties today, and unfortunately, I don't have the best of internet connections. So we'll just go ahead in this current format. So this is action item 11. Consideration.
May I interrupt? I do have the presentation if you would like me to pull it up on my screen, Sana, and then I'll do it up as we go along.
You cannot see my presentation?
No.
No.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. Is that better? Yes. Okay, perfect. I'm not going to mess with it any further just because, like I said, been a day. Anyway, so this is item 11. This resolution is to commend Trisha Ruby for her years of service of the district. She was initially hired by the district in June of 2012, and she served the first 4 years at the district as the conservation program specialist. After that period of time, she moved into the electric department where she served as the associate electric engineer and electric engineer after she obtained her PE license, and she made huge contributions to our department. She announced her retirement date in October, and her retirement was effective December 25th. So in her 8 years of service, Trisha earned the respect and admiration of her peers and the electric crew personnel, and everyone who worked with her had just the utmost respect for her abilities, and we're very sad to see her go. She made significant contributions to the district through her knowledge, her project management skills, which were second to none, her attention to detail, and her mental acuity. She has been extremely generous with her time and her knowledge, helping others succeed in their work at the district. And this includes coming in during her early retirement days to train staff in some of the tasks that she was doing. She was extremely generous with her time. We all know her to be extremely dedicated, knowledgeable, resourceful, goal-oriented, and very supportive. And we wish her nothing but the best in retirement. As far as fiscal impact goes, there is no fiscal impact associated with this item. And our recommendation is to adopt Resolution 2021-02, recognizing Trisha Ruby for her years of service. And if you would like, I would be happy to read the resolution.
I think we would like that, yes.
Okay. I don't have a copy available to share on my screen, but I will go ahead and read it to you.
It is in our packet.
Yes. Resolution number 2021-02, commending Trisha Ruby for her years of service. Whereas Trisha Ruby has been an employee of the district since June 25th, 2012, and whereas during her tenure of employment at the district, Trisha has been an invaluable asset to the district, its customers, and the community. And whereas Trisha has successfully held the positions of Conservation Program Specialist, Associate Electrical Engineer, and Electric Engineer during her career at the district. And whereas Trisha is helpful, dedicated, organized, detail-oriented, and has a positive disposition. And whereas Trisha has been a respected and trusted member of the district, and her advice has been valued by staff throughout her career. And whereas Trisha's ethical behavior and dependability has established a standard that will guide the district staff for years to come. And whereas Trisha has contributed to the success of the district in many ways. And whereas Trisha has earned the respect and deep admiration of her fellow employees and the board. And whereas Trisha has announced her retirement to be effective December 25th, 2020. And whereas the board of directors wishes to express its appreciation and gratitude for the performance of Trisha Ruby and for her years of service to the district and our customers. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the board of directors of the district that Trisha Ruby has the best of luck and happiness in her retirement, and Trisha be commended for her invaluable contribution to the success of the district and for her exceptional service, which stands as a model for others to emulate. And then it says passed and adopted by the board of directors at a meeting duly called and held within the district on the 6th day of January, 2021, by the following roll call vote. And at this time, I would be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you so much for that lovely presentation, Sana. Do we have any public comment on this action item?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have directors? Would we like to say anything?
I would like to say something.
Certainly.
I am so excited for Trisha, and we worked together for 6 years at the PUD, and she has always been very professional, very patient, and just a wonderful person to work with. So Trisha, I wish you well in your retirement. I'm very excited for you, and it's definitely going to be a loss to the district, but I think you're going to do wonderful in retirement. Congratulations.
Thank you, Director Harris. Do we have any other directors?
Yeah, just congratulations, Trisha. Thank you for your service. I do want to share that during her role as conservation specialist, I believe, she helped my father through a big LED retrofit at his commercial property, and he made the comment to me how helpful she was and staff was at the district in getting that project done and going through the rebate process. So just another example of the professionalism of the district and Trisha specifically. I do recall and want to comment on her, as Kim said, professionalism. She was always calm, collected, methodical in her presentations, and I appreciate that. And good luck in retirement. I'm jealous. Have fun, and go enjoy whatever holds, whatever you have in store for you in the next career or retirement path.
Thank you, Director Laliotis. Director Aguera, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I'd like to thank Trish for her service with us. I remember when she first came on, she was, when they introduced her to us at the district, she was in the back of the room there, and she's done a bang-up job for us while she's been here. I really appreciated her help. And she probably didn't see too much of me, but I think her work was very good. And really appreciate you, Trisha. So have a good retirement, and you can go and have fun now. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Aguera. Director Bender?
Yes, yeah, Trisha Ruby, thank you very much. A lot of years of service, awesome job, and I hope to see you out skiing and biking and having a lot of fun outside and enjoying where we live. So again, thank you very much for your years at the district. Super professional, always good to work with. Enjoyed our 8 years working together, and have a blast in retirement. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Bender. And I'm simply going to echo all of my fellow board members. Thank you so much for your service, your dedication, your high ethical standards. Your work has been very valuable to the district and very appreciated by all of us. So the best of luck in retirement. I also am a little jealous. So enjoy yourself. Thank you.
President Finn, I'd like to make a comment on behalf of the staff. Trisha has been an amazing asset to this district. She has, over the last few years, after many years, taken on some really challenging projects. And she's done it with, steadfast resolve, patience with vendors, contractors, internal staff. I really commend her on her work she's done. She's been integral in some of the backbone fiber projects and the water SCADA projects, the electric SCADA projects. These weren't easy projects. They were very difficult in terms of coordination and alignment. And so I really want to thank Trisha for her commitment to those projects. When those projects got a little rough, she stayed true to herself. She's very humble and shy, and I know she wouldn't say this, but she did an amazing job. So congratulations, Trisha. I really hope you and your husband have a great time in retirement. Hope to see you on the bike trails and the ski slopes. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So do we have a motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take this one. I move to adopt Resolution 2021-02, recognizing Trisha Ruby for her years of service.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Shauna, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Absolutely. Director Harris?
Yes.
Director Bender?
Yes.
Director Aguera?
Yes.
Vice President Laliotis?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Trisha.
Congratulations. Excellent. Well, that's always a pleasure. Moving on to our next action item, number 12, the approval of the interim general manager's employment agreement. That is to approve. Yes.
May I interrupt you for 1 second? Trisha had wrote a comment right at the end in the questions and answer.
Please.
Trisha wrote, "Thank you, Sana, members of the board and district staff. It was a pleasure working with all of you. And yes, the snow has been awesome."
Ouch.
That's, yeah, I know, right? That's wonderful. Thank you. Now back to our next agenda item, number 12, approval of the interim general manager's employment agreement. This is the approval to approve an employment agreement between Brian C. Wright for the interim general manager position in substantially the form presented with this report, and authorize the board president to execute it. I believe our counsel, Steve Gross, has a presentation for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, directors. As President Finn said, I'll present this item. She stated the recommendation, which I'll just restate to keep it fresh in your mind, which is to approve an employment agreement with Brian Wright for the interim general manager position in substantially the form presented with this report, and to authorize the board president to execute it. By way of background, on November 18 of last year, after the separation of the general manager, Mr. Wright was appointed unanimously by the board to the position of interim general manager. On December 16 and December 18, the board established and reestablished the general manager's succession transition ad hoc committee. The committee consists of President Finn and Director Bender, and was established for the purpose of negotiating an interim employment agreement with Mr. Wright, and for identifying the succession transition plan and process for selection of a new general manager. On December 23rd, the ad hoc committee, Mr. Wright and I met to discuss the terms and conditions of an employment agreement. Those terms and conditions have been incorporated into the draft agreement attached to this report in your meeting packet. It is being recommended by the ad hoc committee. The essential terms of the agreement are as follows. The scope of services that Mr. Wright would provide are those that are ordinarily and customarily performed by the district's general manager in accordance with the district code and as directed by the board of directors. The term of this agreement is just for 6 months, beginning on November 18, 2020, and ending on May 31st, 2021. The compensation to be provided Mr. Wright during the term of this agreement is on a base salary of $250,000 a year. He is entitled also to all other benefits of employment as provided in the district's current policies and district code. There is an item for expense reimbursement with one particular provision that addresses a professional development plan that Mr. Wright has with the district that was approved by Mr. Hawley when he was general manager. That professional development plan provides for reimbursement of certain education-related expenses and is to be administered by the general manager. To the extent that Mr. Wright would serve as the general manager, it seemed improper that he should be in a position to administer his own professional development plan. So this agreement provides that the plan would be administered by the board of directors during the term of this agreement. That professional development plan is part of Mr. Wright's performance standards, and any review or discussion of the plan itself should be conducted pursuant to an employee performance review and not discussed in open session. The agreement provides that Mr. Wright may terminate his position as interim general manager and return to his position as assistant general manager and water utility director upon 30 days notice to the board. He may do that for any reason. Likewise, the board may terminate Mr. Wright from the position of interim general manager for any reason, no reason, or for cause. If the board terminates him from the position of interim general manager without cause, or because the district has engaged or found or hired a new general manager, then Mr. Wright returns to his position to assistant general manager and water utility director. And the board could terminate his position or his employment as the interim general manager without any right that he would have to appeal that decision or have any due process rights, or Skelly rights as we commonly refer to them. The board can also choose to terminate Mr. Wright's employment as general manager for cause. If it does terminate from that position for cause, he would not have any appeal rights or any due process or Skelly rights to be terminated from the position of interim general manager. However, if that termination would also involve a termination from the district completely, in other words, without him having the ability to return to the position of assistant general manager and water utility director, then he would have the right to appeal that decision, and provided the Skelly rights and due process rights that he currently enjoys with those two positions. So those are the essential terms and conditions of the employment agreement, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Uh-oh, I lost you.
Right, no, you didn't lose me. I think I was just muted.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Well, should we start with questions, or should we start with, is there any public comment on this item? That's what we shall start with. Is there any public comment on this item?
No,
thank you, Shauna. In which case we shall open it up to director discussion. Who would like to begin?
Well, I kind of would like to say that I'm truly glad that he's accepted the position and has taken on the job. And I don't think we'll hear anything different from Brian. Thank you, Brian. And I think that if you're satisfied, I'm happy with you. So I'm happy that you're on and that you did accept and that you're here with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Aguera. Director Laliotis, do you have any questions that you need to clarify?
I noticed, I think in one section, there was a discussion of severance. I didn't see any other reference to it in the agreement. Was there any discussion on severance, or would severance be simply covered under his existing employment?
Good question, Director Laliotis. There is no provision for severance pay should he be terminated from the position of the interim general manager or voluntarily leave that position. And otherwise, there is no provision for severance pay in the district's current employment policies that apply to him. So, in short, there is no severance pay that he would be eligible for.
Okay, yeah, there's a reference to it in that he would not be eligible. So I just wanted to clarify that in section 6B, I don't know, about halfway through, there was a reference to severance pay. So I just want to clarify what that actually meant.
I think it's a belt and suspenders just to make it clear that there is no severance pay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Apologize if it's confusing.
And then just a quick, the salary range for the AGM WUD, how is that, and Brian, you might be able to answer this, because I just don't recall, my brain doesn't remember things as well as it used to, when we approved the addition of the AGM responsibilities to your water utility director position, was there a percentage associated with that?
Yes, Director Elodis, the AGM has a stipend of 5% of base salary to the water utility director salary.
Got it. Okay, thank you. That's it for me for now.
Thank you, Director Laliotis. Director Harris, do you have any questions or clarifications?
No questions.
Thank you. Director Bender, I know that we worked on it, so I think but do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I just want to just reiterate, Brian, right, these are atypical times, happenings, etc. And Brian just keeps proving himself with this, exceeding expectations. And so I'm really excited to approve this tonight, and feel Brian's doing a superb job for the district, for us, and stepping up as interim general manager. So I just want to say thank you, Brian. I'm excited to approve this tonight, and keep it up, and thank you.
Thank you, Director Bender. And I'm just going to echo those sentiments. Brian, you've really earned our trust and support, and we are absolutely confident in your ability to serve as the interim general manager until we finish our GM hunt. So thank you so much for accepting these responsibilities, again, in interesting times that we're living through right now. So with that, do we have a motion?
I'll move approval, staff's recommendation or council's recommendation.
I'll second that.
I hear a motion and a second. Shauna, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, thank you, Director Aguero.
Yes.
Director Bender.
Yes.
Director Harris.
No.
Vice President Laliotis.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that brings us into our workshop item, which I'm looking forward to hearing about. This is our Building Modernization Project, and we get to provide input to staff on what sort of options we want to pursue for our Building Modernization Project.
Yes, good evening, President Finn, members of the board. I'm Keith Renshaw. I'm the Assistant Electric Operations Manager. Tonight I'm going to present a workshop on the Building Modernization Project. I also have Jennifer Stoll here tonight to present some options for you. But first, I'll start with a little background. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. There we go. So a little background. The district office building was built in the late 1980s. With district staff began occupying the building in 1987. 23 years later, the district hired a consultant, Innovity, to create an efficiency report, which identified several projects to improve the district office building. These office building projects are intended to update district facilities while increasing asset longevity and efficiency. Over the past several years, the board has approved the following projects: IT accounting area remodel and data center addition in 2017, lobby customer service and downstairs bathroom remodel project in 2018-19, an upstairs office area, kitchen and bathroom remodel project. In 2020, an elevator rehabilitation project. And then they've also, the board has also approved a window replacement project and a solar awning project for the district office building. Last fall, staff identified the possibility of combining the window replacement and solar awning projects, along with the possibility of modernizing the building's outdated appearance, with the intent to maximize efficiency of those projects with one contract, address additional stucco and painting work that would be associated with both projects, possibly resulting in stronger, more competitive bidding process for both projects, and also enhancing and modernizing the appearance of the building exterior along Donner Pass Road. On March 4th of 2020, the board approved a contract with Jennifer Stoll Architect for a conceptual design of 3 options for the Building Modernization Project. And right now I'm going to go ahead and hand this off to Jennifer Stoll. Jennifer, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, which will allow you to start sharing yours.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jennifer Stoll. Thanks, Keith, for teeing me up. And thank you guys for hiring me to do this project. It's an honor to be of service. I was directed to provide 3 different designs with ascending budgets. So I started off by doing a quick analysis of your current existing conditions of your building. And obviously what popped out is so you're looking at a larger scope of work, you know, with mechanical engineering and envelope specifications. So, but that's included here also for, I budgeted at 600,000, and that's again a square footage cost. But this option C is coming in at 2.6 or 2.0 if you take out the gym. And that's ultimately what I've been directed to do is to give you guys an idea of all the things that you could do to give a facelift to this building and make it more modern, but also get it up to surviving the next 30 years. So I'm going to hand it back over to Keith, and I think maybe later we'll do questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was great. I'll go ahead and share my screen again. So fiscal impact, because this is a workshop item, there is no fiscal impact directly associated with a workshop. However, the board's input on this project will definitely steer the budget for this project. And at this time, staff requests your input on the desired options for the Building Modernization Project. And Jennifer and myself will be happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you very much, Keith and Jennifer, for your presentations. And now I'm going to open it up for the board to discuss amongst ourselves. Do we have a volunteer to begin?
I'm happy to. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
No, it's Tony. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay. Jennifer and Keith, thank you so much. I mean, it's always, whenever I drive by the building, I always dream, wow, what would it look like if it got updated? So it was nice to see the visuals there. I know that the board in the district just took on a big project with the water rates and improving the infrastructure of the water system. That kind of is forefront in my mind, that's a large project that just went through. So, budgeting for something like this on top of that, it would be interesting to see where the money could come. I mean, obviously it would be great to do option C and do everything. But at a minimum, I think the windows and the stucco and the items in option A are, in my eyes, are kind of a no-brainer just to keep the building intact and at least get it a little bit of a facelift on it. But the other thing is that when adding different roof lines and such, we have the snow load. And Jennifer and or Keith, you guys, did you take the snow load into consideration? Do you see any issues with snow load or snow storage or anything like that?
Absolutely. Keith, do you mind if I address that?
Go for it, Jennifer. Thank you.
So yeah, that's a great question. And one of the beauties of the current trend of architecture is these simple modern forms is just one roof line. And your current roof line is 4 different ways that funnels into 4 different places. And one of them's back against the building. And with this one pitch, it's going to go back down to the other side of where there's no public, there's nobody goes over there. There's a few things that we could beef up to make sure that they withstand anything. But actually the purpose of the design was to shed snow away from the public and the entrance and any locations that would have people going in.
Awesome. Thank you.
And one other thing, that the gym is slightly more challenging. And I could address that separately, Director Harris, if you'd like me to.
If the other board members want to hear about it.
Well, a couple of questions, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
Jennifer, you mentioned the stucco. When you said stucco, you said the building. You meant the front wall where the windows are going to be all remodeled, right? Not all the building.
Well, the whole building except for the warehouse in the back. All 3 sides of the building, 3 and an eighth, because there is some north facing that is on my scope of the building, which does not include the warehouse. But it would be re-stuccoing the entire building, because a lot of the windows that are failing are on the west and east side, not just the south.
Okay, I thought we were just going to do the front upstairs. So,
not in what I'm proposing in option B.
Okay, so it is the building, except for the warehouse space. And another question I had was, I like that sign that was a prototype that you had a picture of, right, on the front there. Was that
the logo, the signage? The logo is, I threw out the idea of you guys having like a community logo, contest or something. But even the logos that I'm seeing on your PowerPoint presentations are very modern. And yes, I just stole that from what I've seen, everything what I could find.
I like that because it kind of stands out pretty good. Now, how does that? Did you check with the town and see what their compliance is on? We don't have. They have pretty strict sign codes throughout the town. They came up with that here a couple of years back, and
yes,
that sign it would be one that they would probably approve.
Well, I did not check with the town, but it's my understanding that the incredible collaborative connection that you guys have with the town would allow you a lot of leeway. Also, you have a very large street front, which sometimes plays into them allowing one small sign. You don't have, another sign on the other side or.
Right. Yeah. That was one of the things. When I was building, I just came on the board when that building when we occupied it. That was in 87, 85. something like that. Well, we were occupied in 87. But that one little sign at the front door, it was all we had upstairs. And then I think we've only remodeled it like twice or repainted it twice since then. So I like that one that you showed us. That looked nice. It stand out real nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Director Bender, do you have any comments or thoughts?
Yes, Jennifer, great to see you. It's been a while. So, yeah, glad you're working on this project for us. I do have a couple of comments and questions on it. I like the options, the 3 A, B, and C's. Restuccoing does seem pretty pricey, removing the lath and all that. That is a big job, but I guess if we do as a board decide to do that, some thoughts came in mind. Like on my own personal house that I built, I wrapped it with 1.5 inch rigid insulation. So, it was a little pricey, and we actually did that with the roof retrofit job when we re-roofed the whole building here at the district. We added additional rigid insulation to that, and I believe, and I still, that the comments from staff that it really did help a lot regarding thermal comfort with our staff inside the building. So I'm thinking maybe just as a possible add option for for the B and C projects to do a rigid insulation wrap, and then we can decide later on if we in fact do want to do that if we go with those higher cost projects. And then regarding the window trim, the wood really popped out to me. That in terms of, that building gets hammered by the sun. And when I heard wood, I was like, ooh, that's like a maintenance nightmare. You're going to have to stain it, paint it every 2 years. I do feel the windows, if we do go with the higher end package, the option C or wherever the window trim would be replaced, it'd be nice to have either, a metal. I know you can get a metal brick mold or aluminum brick mold with replacement windows, or I'd lean more towards a metal, sticking with the metal stucco theme rather than just no wood on the actual main building, just for longevity and maintenance. And maybe, with removing all the stucco, you kind of open it up for options. What are the options for siding? But again, I'm just leaning towards that metal and stucco. The building is all stucco right now. And so we could incorporate some metal siding instead of the stucco. Because I did, stucco can get kind of expensive with the lath, the plaster, the multiple coats, etc. So just ideas here on possible ways to reduce some of the cost, but then incorporate a different kind of a siding rather than sticking with all stucco. And then just one thing on the plans, and I just changed the title block name. It says Tahoe in there.
I am so sorry about that.
So, no worries.
I know that is an egregious crime.
So no, coming from, looking at plans all the time, maybe I'm a little too particular on pointing. And I think I'm just looking up. Oh, so there's a weird window. I just jumped onto Google Earth, and on your plan, we have that common hallway that separates, the industrial side front to the offices. And up top, and it just, it's a gable roof, and there's just this half circle window. You know, it's like, really?
80s.
80s, right. So, you know, if we're replacing windows, it's probably not that crazy to box that out and put in a square window. But I'm just thinking out loud here. I was like, wow, that half circle is not attractive. And that was that was it for me. So thank you, Jennifer. Great options in there, and it got me thinking. So
I just want thank you, Jeff. I wanted to comment on the wood siding. There's a couple of products out there which I'm sure you're aware of, AZEK and other cementitious sidings that actually mimic wood and can give you the same, can address the very appreciated concerns about wood in your environment. You have several patches of wood on your building, and they are in my proposal going to be taken out because they get destroyed. I agree with that.
Great. So yeah, good idea there. It doesn't have to be wood. It can be something that looks like wood, and it'll last. The cementitious products that'll last a long time. So,
right. Yeah, and it can still resonate with wood and have a wood feeling, and with, you know, Tahoe, Truckee, the timber industry up here. It's wood is a very knowledgeable and good feeling material.
Yep, great. Thank you. I think, Krista, that's President Finn. That's it for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Tony, I believe you're up.
Yes, thank you. No, great presentation. Thanks, staff and Jennifer, for putting together those options. Obviously, option C looks awesome. I do have some concerns, like Jeff kind of mentioned. You know, being an owner of a stucco building myself in Truckee, I know how impactful the climate is on that material. So I urge, you know, us to be selective on where we use or replace stucco in places that aren't as impacted by the climate and water coming off the building and snow buildup at the base, to put stucco where it's going to last and not where we're going to have to keep chasing our tail by having to repair it every 10, 15 years. I like the idea of a gym. That $600,000 price tag was a little steep for 250 square feet, even in Truckee's building cost standards. So I would urge staff to, if the desire is to put in an exercise facility for staff, that we get more creative on finding space within our existing building for that potential option. So yeah, I think I like the overall look of option C. I think the price tag can be brought down with some creativity and maybe elimination of the exercise facility and the awning, or the other proposal on that western elevation that created that $600,000 price tag. But yeah, I'm in favor of modernization, you know, bringing the building up to more modern standards, being selective as to where we use stucco, and putting in products that blend with the stucco that will absorb our climate and moisture and weather impacts, so that we're not having to constantly maintain the building on a more frequent basis than necessary.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. And that leaves me. I also am very much in favor of modernizing our building. I think you had a really good point with we want to be welcoming. We are trying to position ourselves outwards to our community more than we have. And I really quite liked a more welcoming entryway for the public. I also, want to stress, this is an opportunity for us to walk our talk in regards to efficiency, in regards to, our awning project, which was a solar generating project that we can help defray our energy costs, make our building more energy efficient, make it more comfortable for everybody in all the passive ways that exist with insulation, with, get better windows, better window coverings, better awnings. I think all of those things are a very good example for us to set for our community. We are the electric providers, and we really want to encourage people to do all of those things and maintain their properties to the best of their abilities to make sure that this community is as efficient with our energy use as possible. Same sort of thought process with the gym. I think anything that we can do to encourage our employees to take care of themselves is money well spent. I don't know if it has to be that much money well spent, but I do, I've been in the little tiny gym that we do have there, and it's not particularly, I suspect it gets no use. It may as well not exist. I suspect. I have no idea if that's a true statement, but I can tell you that, a little treadmill and some weights is not, it's dark, it's quiet, it's small, it's tricky. But anyway, that's what we want people to take their own health seriously, just like we take the health of our environment seriously. And we should, again, walk that talk. That's part of safety. That's part of health. And back to the stucco, that's a hot topic. Apparently, I am not particularly wedded to stucco. I always thought it was an unusual choice for our environment. Having grown up in Florida, we had lots of stucco, and I never really thought of it for a mountain environment until, the PUD, like looking at some buildings up here. So I feel like we should just take the opportunity to really think about what, do we want to replace the stucco with stucco? Obviously, it's not ideal. The pictures that you showed us, it does not weather well. It undermines the integrity of the building. What are our other options and opportunities to, that's what this is, an opportunity to make changes. So yeah, that's where I guess I fall on the leaning towards option C and really looking at the budget, really looking at what, can we, like you said, these aren't hard numbers, these are estimates that you gave us. So if we can drill down a little bit with the sorts of input that we got from the rest of our board members, and I understand that some of that is contradictory, but, and also look at our budget, on the PUD side, on our side, what do our, I know that we are a fiscally pretty tight ship. We don't have a lot of, built into our budget. So, I suspect, again, we're also looking in the future towards savings that this is going to generate for us on energy and efficiency. So take that into consideration, take into consideration that these upgrades will require less maintenance costs in the future. So I think it behooves us all to look really closely at those offsetting benefits, price benefits, and really get a more granular financial analysis on both ends, like more specificity on your end, like with the actual costs, and then on our end, what do we have? What do we have to spend, and where are we going to get it from? So those are my comments. Does anybody have, now that we've all had a moment, I don't know how clear we are with a united recommendation to staff. So I think does anybody have anything else that they've thought about or a response to anything that we have said to each other?
I think it's great. We came up with some good ideas, and we're still, want to see the options develop. I think rather than just pick one at the moment. I too would, the upgrade and modernization is it's a need. So it needs to happen, and we definitely need awnings, the solar gain inside all the offices next to those windows, and incorporating all this into one project. I like that. And I guess just keep developing the options, and me personally leaning towards more of the option C, but again, we need to be budget conscious. Like the gym, how many square feet again?
250. It's very small. And and I'll just jump in. I think that yes, as an architect, the first question I ask is, what's your budget, so that I can get you there. And this is not that project. I'm wildly hey, give us 3 different low, medium, and high. And also, this is general ideas, and then given your input tonight, I can move forward into preliminary design more efficiently. So for example, I can move into preliminary design with all 3 designs, but that's just going to be it. There's no reason to move into preliminary design on option A if no one's really fired up about it and it's not the direction you want to go. It would save you money instead of moving on 3 different directions. So if you have a general direction, and what I'm hearing is, I have absolutely no problem with 1.5-inch rigid insulation. That's a fantastic thing to incorporate. Adding some metal siding. I think when it gets into thinner metal siding versus stucco, it's also it lasts forever, but like you've mentioned, that's insulation properties are not very great. So, but I could look at that type of approach and direction, and then present a preliminary design to you. And when I move into preliminary design, there's a lot more information, a lot more plans that we can give to not just using square footage costs, but we can give to estimators to give us a little bit better idea of what the cost is going to be. And, hey, at that point, maybe we rip off the gym, or maybe you guys could, what gym is not necessarily the scope of this original project in modernization. And, I think that's the direction I'm looking for, so that I can move you guys into the next phase of getting you better cost information.
Can I say something about the gym? I've used the gym as an employee when I was there, and I think that a gym and an area for the employees to continue to encourage their wellness, encourage their strength and their cardio and all that is super important, especially for workers' compensation, to ensure that they have the tools, being their body, that they have the tools in order to do their job out in the field. So I think a gym is super duper important, but I do agree that $600,000 for a 250-foot gym is steep. so getting creative, I think, would be helpful. And I'd, maybe ask the employees, like, are they, what kind of ideas maybe do they have with it? And I know that a lot of work has already been done on the downstairs and the upstairs, and I haven't seen the upstairs since all the work has been completed. Yeah, and then all the building materials, I would defer to it myself. I defer to Jeff and to Tony on those things, because they do, and they're in the building industry, or they do have their own buildings that they manage, and have worked with those materials. So yeah, that's just my feedback. Yeah, no, thanks, Kim. Good feedback. I think, my point is, I believe what I'm hearing from the board is, B and C, probably a little more C, option C. I think obviously affordability is going to be the question. But whether or not we build this now, or if we want to build what we want and we have to wait a couple years to budget for it logically, I think it's worth it. To do it right and do it once, instead of kind of doing it halfway. So, it's time. Option C really fits with
the vision on Donner Pass Road. With some cool materials and things like that, I think we can make it happen. I'm not worried about budget because we can plan for it, and we can make it happen when it's right. I think it's just a matter of working through the design process now and coming up with the affordability and the schedule at a later date.
President Finn, if I might jump in real quick.
Certainly.
Great feedback, and this is a great workshop. And Jennifer and staff, great job on setting a baseline here. Just a quick note: some of the items in this project, as we mentioned or Keith mentioned in the onset, are kind of combining already approved, already budgeted for projects into this larger beautification project. So in terms of a budget, we can definitely come back. Staff can come back and present this. Have Jennifer, based on the feedback this evening, kind of tighten a few things down and look at some options, perhaps to Director Laliotis and Director Harris's point. We need to work on the gym, but maybe push that out and in a larger or a separate project that we can budget for. But I think you have some good starting points in terms of materials and the desire to, I'm hearing option C is something the board is definitely interested in tightening up.
That's what I'm hearing as well. I hope if anybody is not hearing that, now is a great time to speak up.
I agree. Option C, let's tighten it up. Yeah.
Is it possible to get copies or email us like the presentations to be able to look at it a little bit closer?
Yes.
From the presentation.
Director Harris, yes, I can send the PDFs to Brian and he can forward those on to you.
That'd be great. Thanks.
As long as we don't have a corrugated tin. You hear me?
I agree. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, Jennifer and Keith for the presentation. Thank you, fellow board members, for your input and thoughts. And I think we have a pretty clear direction. And we'll come back and we'll plan and we'll budget and we'll make a beautiful PUD exterior and a nice functional gym work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and that brings us to the home stretch of routine business. Approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of December 2nd, 2021, and the special meetings of December 16th, 2021, and December, no, I'm sorry, it was 2020, and December 18th, 2020. I just really want 2020 to go away, and I'm rounding up to 2021. Do we have any public comment on the minutes?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I just had two little things. The word unanimously was used when the vote was 4-1.
I missed that.
My apologies.
No worries.
I will fix that before signed.
So I will move approval of the minutes with those two corrections. That's all I found.
I had a couple corrections. Should I wait to
This is the time.
Okay. On the minutes from December 16th, in the board comments of action item 7, I just wanted to add in there that I had also said that it's like the last sentence that says, furthermore, the hiring of a new general manager was a platform for running in the election. And I also had said that in making the district a success and being participatory. I wanted to make sure that those got added in there. And the other thing is that Shauna, I know, kind of bullet pointed my director update from the 16th, and I sent Shauna the narrative.
Okay.
So I'll second it with those corrections. But the other thing I had is that I was not on the board for the December 2nd meeting. So I plan to abstain from approving those minutes. So maybe somebody else should second it. And when I go to approve it, I'll abstain from those minutes. And is that the proper way of doing it, Steve?
So you can abstain if you want. You're not required to abstain, even though you weren't there. You could rely on fellow board members saying that the minutes are an accurate reflection of the meeting, and you could approve them. However, if you feel more comfortable abstaining, you may do so. And so it would be fine to have someone else make that motion, and you could state your abstention from approving those minutes.
Okay, I like that way better.
Okay.
So I think we're looking for a second.
I'll second.
Shauna, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Thank you, Director Bender.
Yes.
Director Aguero.
Yes.
Director Harris.
I'm abstaining from approving the December 2nd minutes, but we'll vote to approve the 16th and 18th, December 16th and 18th minutes.
Thank you. Vice President Loliotis.
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And we will now be moving into closed session. 15, closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, deciding whether to initiate litigation, one case, and 16, closed session pursuant to Government Code 54957, public employee performance evaluation, interim general manager's performance review. So we shall now leave our open session, and we'll meet everybody on the other side in closed session. Going to that link.